and so we take a breath and just ease in to relax into that space where what's going on outside takes a back seat, where we move into the allness within, where we take an opportunity to just step out of the hustle, bustle, and movement and reach for that still, small voice within. As we breathe, we just relax in, not trying to force anything, not trying to stop any thoughts, just allowing the flow to keep on flowing. We're not attaching to anything. We're just sitting with ease in the flow of Godness and allowing. If thoughts or ideas rise to the top, demanding our attention, we thank them for showing up. We acknowledge them. And we know they'll be there for us as we step back into words and ideas. We take a moment now to just move further into heart. Where do you feel that place within? That place of love, where the love begins within. That space where the joy begins within. Where we feel peace and tranquility and joy and glee. That place where everything is possible. That is where our divinity meets our humanity. It's not somewhere out there, it's within. Taking that time now, we get in touch with that space, that place, that sacred door within. Knowing that the only thing that ever keeps us from it is our awareness. And bringing that awareness with gentle purpose right to the threshold and opening the door wide. God begins within. We are moving, living, having our being within Godness, within the force that created all things, within the force that animates us, giving us our ideas, providing our stability and our security, asking us always to grow, to spread our wings and fly, trusting that the current of spirit is always there, carrying us forward. We take a moment now to just feel within and settling in that space, getting very familiar with it, sitting in the seat and the seed of spirit within. Just for a moment we do that, acknowledging the presence of God that is us, for just a moment in the silence. And within the silence, always the voice of God speaks. Sometimes it's a whisper. Sometimes it's a song. Sometimes it's a beautiful toddler, 16 months old, in the midst of our group today. We're grateful for the many ways it shows up, and we know that when we're ready, when we're seated in that presence, we always have the ears to hear it, to listen, and to learn. Grateful for this truth, we say, thank you, God, and so it is. Amen. I've said it a couple times this month, question every answer. Question every answer. How are you going to hear the words coming out of my mouth today? Because I guarantee you, if between our online audience and our audience in the room, if there are 150 or 200 of us today, I am about to give 200 different messages. Because you're going to hear me through your filters, through your wounds, through your prejudices, through your assumptions. You're going to be hearing me through all of those things. So the words that I say are not actually always going to be the words that you hear. So this should be fun. So let's see what we're going to end up with today. And what you end up with and what I end up with is determined by where we're at right now and what we are ready to receive, what we are open to receive, what we are willing to hear, and not, well, no, it's also at work, but we're also going to be receiving what we're receiving through what we're not willing to hear and see and be. So that's a dance that I just invite you into this week as you move through the coming week. Because when we're talking about empowering will, I am so willful. I am such a willful person. When I was a kid, they would call that really hard-headed, bull-headed, pig-headed, and stubborn. Now I get to say, I'm willful. It sounds so much more attractive than the rest of those things. And it's kind of the same thing, right? So it's we get set in our sets of beliefs, and then we spend our lives proving them. And the catch there underneath it all is most of what you believe you don't even realize you believe. So our unity walk, Mike and Mel and I, we usually meet once a week for a clearing the head breakfast, for a kind of pushing ideas forth and talking about where we are and how can we support one another in our journeys. And the three of us spend so much time in our heads about what we're doing, what we're thinking, what are we believing, what's at work here, why did I just do that? I might have to call Mel and ask in the middle of the week, why the hell did I just do that? And Mel can go, well, what I know about you, and see, that's the thing. If you can have in your circle and in your, we have so many amazing groups here. We meet on Wednesdays, we meet on Tuesdays, and we just talk life out. And we make so many discoveries about ourselves and the beliefs that we're holding, and it frees us. And so when you surround yourself with people that you know are believing that you are more than you think you are at any moment, you've got a recipe for success. You've got a life that will grow and evolve and change. Last Sunday, Mike stood up here and did the talk and did it so beautifully. Recently, Tracy stood up here and did the talk and did it so beautifully. See, here's the thing, and this is a belief of mine that I really want to bring to this stage. This is not the Church of Trish. I know I have a larger-than-life personality. I'm like the TARDIS in Doctor Who. I'm much bigger on the inside. And I know that I bring a lot here. I bring a lot here, and I work on it. And I work on myself so that what I bring here can feed and sustain and support and grow all of us if we give it a chance to. And I also know that no matter how big my personality is, I have kind of a set message. They always say that every minister has a platform, every minister has a message, and they will give it to you in as many thousands of different ways as you will let them. And I believe I'm relatively good at articulating that message, and it is one message. And we are here every Sunday showing up wanting to grow and be spiritual fed. Me too, right? And so right now, and you guys don't always have to know all the background information that goes on here. We have board meeting today, and we have board meetings once a month here after our Sunday service. And we have a board that believes in this community and its possibility and its ability to grow and evolve and become more every single day. And we also have a board that works toward that goal. And we work toward growing ourselves so that we can help grow this community. And so I know that as much fun as I can be to watch the train wreck of Trish up here on the stage every Sunday, if that's all you ever hear, after a while you're going to go, haven't we heard this before? Haven't I heard this message before? See, this is a belief of mine, but it's also something we know about human nature. So I know that there need to be other voices on this platform. And we have the blessing of having voices in this room, and I know there's probably even more than I know right now. But we have the blessing of having Mike and having Tracy who can stand up here and articulate a message that is their message, and that feeds and grows and sustains us. And I want to see that happen. And right now, see, the other piece of this is we are charged with financial stewardship, with making sure that the money that you trust us with, that you put in our collection every Sunday, we're here to make sure that that money is responsibly spent, that it goes to our mission and vision and core values, and that it grows the spirit of this community. We give 10% of anything you ever give to us to a deserving organization in this community. We have a lot of them that we give to. And then we ask every month that you give to another organization in our community as well. And we have a new initiative this Sunday that Tina's going to mention as well. There's a hospice community or comfort cart that Mel is going to be helping get items to for people who come to hospice, who show up for their loved ones. Often they show up not knowing how long they're going to stay, having no food, nothing that they need. Sometimes they forget their chargers, and once they get there, they don't want to leave the bedside of the person they've come to be with. And so hospice has a comfort cart. And so we're invited to give to that comfort cart. There's a list at the collection area out in the lobby. There's another one on the table, and we're going to have that offering up here as an ongoing collection so that we can share with another group in our community. And we want more and more and more sharing, and we want more and more and more learning, and we want more and more opportunities to broaden our horizons. Right now, fiscally responsibly. See, when Mike or Tracy or I get up here, it costs money to have us up here. We got to eat. We got to pay our bills, and we got to, feed ourselves and maybe have some fun once in a while and do fun stuff if our budget allows, right? And we have a weekly lunch to have or a breakfast to have. And so we need to be fiscally responsible with the money that you trust us with. And right now, we have it so that about every 6 weeks, someone else will be up here on this platform delivering this message. And I am so here for that. Actually, I would love it to be once a month. We know now with Mike and with Tracy here that we have a wealth of information that is untapped on Sundays that I'm standing up here. I want to learn from them too. So if you ever feel moved to make that happen, and you feel financially like you would like to contribute to that, come talk to me. I'll tell you how much it costs to have them up here. And if somebody wants to sponsor that, I would love one Sunday a month to be able to sit with you and to absorb as well and to learn and grow. And it doesn't take a lot of money, it just takes a commitment. See, that's what happens every Sunday when we come here. We all give to this community so that we can give further out in the community. It's one of our beliefs that if we empower our will and if we strengthen this community, that we can do more and more and more good in the world and bring more and more and more unity to our community. And I don't know about you, but some days it feels like we need it more than others. You know? Some days I feel more unified and aligned, and other days I don't. And how I feel determines where I'm grounded as well and what I show up with. So today I was talking about relying on reason. There's always a reason for our reason. There's always a way that we find what our reason for being is and how we find, when they say, meet it with reason instead of ridiculousness. When we're looking for our belief systems and what we're meeting it with, we're using everything we've had in life so far. We're being the different things we've been, and we are bringing them forward in new ways that create our lives. 40 years ago today, what time is it? A couple hours ago, I became a mom for the first time. Right? My daughter was born this morning 40 years ago today. And I regularly have this, I have 2 kids, and I regularly, through their years, I have this pattern of things that I do. I start when I began labor with them, and I will text them, call them, tell them if I'm in person, X amount of years ago, right now, today, I was doing this. And when I went into labor at the age of 20 with my daughter, I tried to learn everything I could about what was about to happen to me. And I paid so much attention in the Lamaze classes, and I had my focus points, and I had all my, from books, things that I was going to use and ways that I was going to be and exactly how I was going to show up, and I was going to kick this childbirth thing right in the butt, right? Because I was going to be really good at this, because I like being good at stuff. Well, I went to my doctor midway through the day, right before lunch with my mom, and when the doctor was checking me, every time the doctor would check me, my daughter would go whoop, and it was really kind of neat to see. You could see the whole baby. You could see the shape of the whole baby, and whoop, there she would go. So she did it a few times so that we could see it. Well, that probably started labor, and we didn't know it at that point. But I went to lunch, and I was having little aches, and I went through the day, and I was having little aches, and I was kind of uncomfortable. And about 4:30 in the afternoon, I realized these little aches were about 7 minutes apart. And I thought, okay. So my husband came home from work, and I made dinner, and then I did the Trish thing to do, because my belief says my house must be clean if anybody might see it. So then I started cleaning the house. Any of you who have ever been in labor in life know that if you move when you're in labor, you have to go to the bathroom. And so I would clean for 42 seconds and go to the bathroom. Go back and clean for 42 more seconds and go to the bathroom. And I did this until about 7 o'clock at night. And my husband and I were watching Romancing the Stone. Dating myself. And he finally, after I cleaned and I sat and I did dinner and I did dishes, and now we're watching Romancing the Stone, and I'm sitting there and I kept watching the clock. Every time it would happen, I would watch the clock, because they told me when contractions were 6 minutes apart, I needed to head to the hospital. And I lived 40 minutes from the hospital, so I wanted to make sure I was there on time. So finally, as I'm watching the TV and watching the clock, my husband said, "Are you in labor?" He said, "You've been looking at the clock like every 5 minutes. I'm watching you. You're watching the clock." I'm like, "Yeah, I think I might be." So we get in the car. We drive up the highway. We go to the hospital. Here I am, 20 years old. I look back at the pictures of us now. We look like 12-year-olds. I mean, it was ridiculous. And so we show up at the hospital, and we get in there, and I'm all ready, because I know they're 5 minutes apart at that point, and that means I'm ready to go, and I'm ready to be in there. And I just believed I knew what was about to happen. And they checked me, and they said, "Sorry, honey, you've got hours and hours and hours yet. You should probably just go back home. So our body goes, oh, hold on, wait, I knew what I was supposed to be doing now. That's not what's supposed to happen. How many times in life have we said it? This isn't supposed to be happening. It's all supposed to be happening for a different reason. And when we find our way of relying on reason, going, okay, if this is happening, that means it's supposed to be happening. So now what do I bring to it, right? And so, but in my mind at 20, that wasn't supposed to be happening. And so since my in-laws lived closer, we went there. Oh, that's so much fun when you're in labor and your in-laws are a very large family and they're all there staring at you, waiting for the contractions to get closer. And my father-in-law wanted to be helpful and he said, Trish, sing something. So we played cards, we sang, we watched TV, and literally 4 hours later was when it was time to go back to the hospital. And I thought, okay, I know what I'm supposed to do. I've got this, right? How many times do we think that in life? I know what I'm supposed to do. I got this. When we rely only on our little self, this package that I come in, when I rely on just what this little package knows, I'm in trouble, right? I'm in trouble. It's just like just having one voice up here. We want more voices. We want to learn more. We want to know more. We want to enrich our lives in new and different and wonderful ways. So finally, it comes time to go back to the hospital, and I'm ready, right? I'm going to do natural childbirth. I know how to do the breaths. I know how to find my focal point. I know how I'm going to do this. And now I'm, 16 hours or whatever, 12 hours into labor, whatever it was. And I'm ready to do my Lamaze now. And I had been in labor for so long and had been doing so much all day long that the minute I would go to relax my muscles, every muscle in my body shook. So I would do this, and that scared the crud out of me at 20 years old. And so I didn't know framework now. This isn't going to work. I can't keep shaking like this, and it's not helping me, and I'm losing my focus, and I'm ready to cry, and I don't know what I'm going to do. When do we go back to realize that something feels bigger than us, and what we need to do is meet it with the godness within? Because often, and I watch, and I've lived it in so many times, when situations happen, oh my gosh, the first thing I do, I try to go into fix-it mode, and I tense up every muscle in my body, and I'm just moving through, just trying to figure out what I can do in crisis management mode, like when a lizard runs off. That's where you're in that reptilian brain. The reptilian brain's got nothing for you but run. That's all it's got. Run, run. You can't reason and run. Well, unless when you reason it says, truly, run. Okay? And so by the time I got there, I had gotten myself so far out of everything that I knew how to rely on that when they said, well, we can give you a shot of some stuff to just calm you down. Now, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do any of those things. This was even before the epidural was really a thing. So they gave me something in my IV, and I told them that. I said, look, I don't do any kind of anything, so I'm a lightweight. Well, apparently I'm a much lighter weight than I even thought I was. And so they give me this shot, and it was lovely. And unicorns and rainbows and silvery things, and it was just wonderful, and I was as relaxed as could be. And I remember thinking in this lovely relaxed state at one point, I kept hearing someone moaning so loudly, and it was annoying me in my happy little state. How many times in our lives are we not listening to the voice that's really screaming from underneath for our attention? That annoying moaning was me. And when I came out of it enough to realize that it was me, it scared me again, and it took me a minute. Well, I had my daughter clearly after 25 hours of labor. I had her natural. We went through the whole thing. She was gorgeous and wonderful and vibrant and screamed as loud as I do and all that good stuff. And I had her, and I thought, oh my gosh, that wasn't anything that I expected it to be. It hurt worse, and it was scary, and all these tools that they gave me, I hardly even got to use them. And I went, and I thought, ugh. And I got through it, right? So that's part of the good news. We usually, your track record for getting through everything that life has brought you to is 100%. And how would you like to move through it? Moaning, wondering who's making that annoying noise? Or wide awake and prepared and ready for what life brings? Because we have the capacity to do that. Fast forward 12 and a half years, and I had my son. And we had scheduled induced labor at the time because my doctor said, "You're a hoot, and I want to deliver this baby, and I'm going on vacation on Tuesday." He said, could I, he goes, "I know this is just kind of crazy, but could I ask if we could induce so that I could do your delivery?" Because there were other doctors, but I would really like to do your delivery, so could we induce? And I was like, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I'm ready, And so turns out I was in labor through the night. While I was awake, while I was moving around, however, I had come so far in life and I had become so much more prepared with my spiritual tools, with my sense of self, with my inner strength, that when labor happened again, I thought, well, this can't be it, because this really isn't much of anything. Right? I mean, think about that in life. The first time we face so many things, they're the size of that mountain, right? And once we realize that we have the capacity and the power to make it through the things that life brings us to, and that maybe we can even have fun doing it. I know I'm silly in here on Sunday mornings, and sometimes we're the worst behaved row in the church before service. That's because we are so filled with the immense joy of the gift that it is to be in this room with this group of people and to be able to do life with this group of people. How amazing is that? So I come in here on Sunday morning and I'm like, yeah, one more time, let's do it again. Watch Bonnie during the peace song. Watch Bonnie. This woman makes the peace song an event every Sunday. That's what I'm saying. This is how, can we show up like that for life? You don't get any points for neatness in life. I want to slide into home plate. My late husband used to say that to me all the time. I want to slide into home plate having used absolutely every tool, having just the strings coming off the ball and the ball coming apart, and there I hit home plate. I'm there too. Let's do it. Do it big, do it large, live louder, love louder. Just embrace every single moment in this gift that we have. Because life's going to happen, guys. Life's going to happen. Whether we go through it kicking and screaming or dancing our way through with a big smile on our face. By the time I got to having my son, it was an entirely different experience. They didn't give me anything. I stopped, I leaned, I breathed. My daughter had painted every one of my finger and toenails a different color so that I could watch and lean and count my fingers and count my toes and have something. See, it's a different experience when you show up with a support system and the love and the strength and the knowledge of more than just reading about it in a book. Of knowing that my track record for getting through what life has brought me to is 100%. And so having my son was an entirely different experience. And he came out and he got all 10 on the APGAR scores. And he was just ready and raring to go because I was ready and raring to go. Now, my daughter is a stupendous human being. She is strong beyond measure. She is an amazing woman, and I want to be like her when I grow up. And the way she came into this world is not the way that she has to live into this world. You decide every minute. We come through what we've come through. Some of us have had hell on earth to be sitting in these chairs this morning. Some of us have gone through immeasurable pain. And you sit here, beautiful, glorious, radiant expressions of God this morning. As we said last week, our choice is our voice. Mike did such a beautiful job, and Steve was so moved by Mike's LOVE acronym that he made him a beautiful piece of art for his office with it. And Mike shared with us last Sunday, love. Look, own, value, embrace. Look at what's going on in your life. Own the things that you are bringing into existence in this world and the way that they are happening. Value all of the lessons and embrace them so that you can show up differently the next time. I want to add to Mike's love, live. L-I-V-E. Lean in. Value everything. And make it a great life. And while you're at it, you know I like toys and I like tangible examples. While you're at it, have a ball. And if you'd like, have a ball. Thank you all so much for being precisely who you are. Thank you for showing up and sharing yourself here this morning. Thank you for being unity in this world and for being a force of love and light and radiance that this world needs every minute of every day. And thank you for letting me be in it with you. And so it is.
Thank you for joining us today. Please visit www.unityofsebring.org for more information, to submit a prayer request, or to donate to our ministry. We hope to see you again very soon.